welcome back to another round basis picks. Now this is actually going to be a bit of a departure because I only ever do this on occasion, but even though there's a couple of fights I want to watch and I'm interested in having a look at, there's actually only one fight I'm even going to really talk about in terms of trying to break it down and think of how it's going to go and how the prediction's going to stick. So like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, associate, relative, enemy, and anyone in between. I appreciate it. Before I get into it, real quick honorable mention. So Jermaine Franklin, I'm actually interested to see how he sort of rebounds off of his two back-to-back losses against Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua. I am extremely excited to see the debut of Andy Cruz against Juan Carlos Burgos. I guess without going too deep into it, of those two fights, I think Jermaine Franklin and Andy Cruz are gonna go points each, but I think they're gonna have pretty comfortable nights. That's my opinion on those two. Yeah, let's go to the main event of that card. Oh, actually no, before I do that, obviously Josh Kelly versus Kozo. Obviously, because I don't know Kozo, I can't really give that big of a prediction and opinion. I don't know, but I'm going to assume Josh Kelly's going to get through that one on points, provided he can last the pace of the fight. I know Steve Robinson's also on that card against what's his name, Franklin Ignatius, I think is his name. I'm definitely going to be watching, but because I don't know enough about the people, I can't make any solid predictions. Anyway, getting to the main event of the Detroit card, Alicia Baumgardner versus Christina Leonardo 2. Now, I remember their first fight quite vividly, and it was a case of Alicia did very, very well at the start. She was kind of I think she had the shorter reach. I think she's naturally a little bit shorter than Christina. In the ring, Christina was quite that bit bigger than her, but Alicia was doing quite well, trying to set traps, counter punching, boxing off the back foot, occasionally trying to meet Christina head to head. But ultimately, they were exchanging, and the first sort of 4 or 5 rounds were very like nip and tuck, very close. But by the time it got to sort of round 6, 7, and 8, I remember Alicia was being a lot more economical with her work, obviously trying to catch breaths and catch breaks, whereas Christina Leonardo just had the gas tank to carry on and to sort of to go through and to keep basically stonewalling her, walking her down, and sort of beating her up on the inside and just sort of staying close to her chest. And she definitely won the back half of that fight. And obviously hence the split decision, because one of the judges gave Alicia several of the first 5, and then obviously not the last 3, and then some of the others had Christina winning just like a couple extra of the first sort of half of the fight. So how was this fight different, or how have these people changed? Well, if we look at it, so Alicia, obviously she's 4 years older now, fully over the knee injury she suffered back at the end of 2018, 2019. She's come into her own, undisputed super featherweight champion, has every single belt you can have at the division, 6 belts in total, that's including the IBO and the Ring magazine. Christina, former 2-time super lightweight champion, she had to relinquish her super lightweight title when she got pregnant and gave birth to a child, I think early last year. So she's obviously come back on the comeback trail. Now initially I was actually mistaken, because I thought they had their first fight up at 140, which wasn't the case. It was actually at 130. It wasn't even at 135. So Christina can actually make those lighter weights, but my thing was, well, she hasn't been at that weight for like 5 years, so how's she gonna look? And if she looks like she may have potentially struggled to make that weight, then I feel like Alicia's got her. Well, I saw the weigh-in, and at that weigh-in, Christina looked really good. She didn't look drawn. She didn't look like, you know, she'd had to work really hard to lose that, you know, the extra 5-6 pounds or whatever she had prior to the Michaela Mayer fight. She looked in really, really good shape, and that is now making me think she's made that weight quite well and quite comfortably. So the way how I kind of see the fight going, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little worried for Alicia again. We know that her gas tank is not great. When she's fighting against opponents that basically are pure boxers like her, she manages it very well, because everything, she picks her shots and she sets things up nicely. But when she fights like a quote-unquote a boxer puncher, or when she fights a pressure person, if she doesn't get them out of there early, she has to take off a couple rounds in the middle of the fight to then have to try and dig deep towards the back end. And Christina Leonardo too is not going to let up. Now, Alicia's done well in almost adapting her style to be a bit more of a hybrid between that pure boxer and that boxer puncher. But the problem is she still needs time in between those strong explosive punches and the combinations to, you know, regain breath, stamina and composure. Can Christina take the power? Well, she took it 4 years ago. But can we assume that maybe Alicia is stronger now, or more powerful, more dynamic, more explosive now than she was back then? That's a tough question. I'm not 100% sure, because the majority of her KOs did come towards the beginning of her career, as opposed to, you know, the back half of it. The way I think the fight's gonna go, I think the first 4 rounds, Christina's going to pressure Alicia. Alicia's going to move around the ring. She's going to pot shot, and I feel like she's going to stick the jab to Christina and tempt and tease with throwing the right hand. She might let it go once or twice, but I don't think she's going to properly try to let it go until maybe sort of round 3. I think at one point she's maybe going to get into an exchange with Christina between sort of rounds 3 and 4, which she might end up coming off the better in. But I think Christina's going to weather that, and Alicia's going to have problems round 5 and round 6, or is going to have to move around to try and catch her breath, and then her work rate is going to be a lot more economical from round 5 onwards. Now, the last fight they had was an 8-rounder, and this is a 10-rounder, so she's got another 2 rounds in which she's gonna have to keep this woman off of her. Initially, I thought that she would get that stoppage, because I didn't know how Christina would make the weight. Now, again, I'm not so sure. And we've seen a lot of these hometown fights recently have not gone the way they were supposed to go. This one is difficult, because I definitely think that Christina's going to come on strong around 5, 6, 7 and 8, and then it's just about, can Alicia weather that to maybe get a late breath, a late salvo sort of in the last couple rounds. I think it's getting points. And I'm not confident in this pick. Usually I am, but on this particular occasion, I think we're going to have another split decision. I think it's going to be a split decision win to Alicia, ever so slightly. I think she's going to do enough in the first half of the fight and nick a couple of rounds in the second half. So I'm gonna guess it will be sort of like a 96-94 type fight. I don't see her dropping Christina, and I see her possibly just getting the rub of the green from the judges, or at least two of them. But I can definitely see Christina picking up some points as well. So it's either going to be a split decision win for Alicia Baumgardner or a majority decision win, meaning one of the cards is going to be a 95-95. But yeah, it's going to be a great fight either way. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. I said this is probably one of the least confident picks I've had in a little while, because yeah, the variables they're just too much to overlook. But I do think she's going to get the rub of the green on home territory, and she's going to do just enough to eke it out. So again, split decision or majority decision win. Leave yours down below. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much. And that's Base's pick, I suppose. Look.